ओके है ना, अपना चालू कर सकते हैं भाई सागर भाई।
हाँ चालू कर सकते हैं।
ठीक है, एक मिनट। हाँ, नमस्कार सभी को, और वी आर वेलकमिंग टू उत्तम शर्मा सर in this particularly IAPT UG PG lecture series. So I'm welcome to sir, and Dr. B.D. Srivastava sir will tell to about sir. So sir, please give the introduction of sir.
Thank you.
And as
Thank
well
you,
as
sir.
proceed continue.
हाँ नमस्कार, मैं डॉक्टर बी.डी. श्रीवास्तव IAPT RC9 के इस फोरम से यूजी पीजी स्टूडेंट्स जो हैं उन सभी पार्टिसिपेंट्स को नमस्कार करता हूं। आज हमारे बीच में हमारे IAPT RC9 के सेक्रेटरी डॉक्टर उत्तम शर्मा सर भी उपस्थित हैं, तो उनका भी स्वागत, अभिनंदन। जैसा कि आप सभी को विदित है कि लॉकडाउन के इस सीजन में हम लोगों ने IAPT के माध्यम से यूजी और पीजी स्टूडेंट्स के नॉलेज को बरकरार रखने के लिए ऑनलाइन लेक्चर सीरीज का आयोजन किया। IAPT RC9 का ये उद्देश्य बिल्कुल साफ रहा कि फिजिक्स पढ़ने वाले विद्यार्थी किसी भी प्रकार से ऐसा महसूस ना करें कि उनके पास में पढ़ने के लिए ऑप्शंस नहीं है। यद्यपि फिजिक्स के संदर्भ में जब भी हम बात करते हैं तो हमारे पास में इतना मटेरियल ऑनलाइन अवेलेबल है, लेकिन हमारे जो स्टूडेंट्स हैं उनका जो सिलेबस है उसको ध्यान में रखकर संभवतः वो मटेरियल ढूंढना बच्चों को बहुत मुश्किल होता है। इसी उद्देश्य से हमारी जो यंग फैकल्टीज हैं IAPT की, उन लोगों ने अपने कुछ लेक्चर्स प्रिपेयर किए सिलेबस के एक हिसाब अकॉर्डिंगली, एंड उन लेक्चर्स को जो है वो डिलीवर किया। जूम पे हमारी लिमिटेशंस हैं, 100 पार्टिसिपेंट्स को ही हम अलाउ कर पाते हैं, लेकिन हमारे सारे लेक्चर जो हैं वो IAPT RC9 की YouTube चैनल पे अवेलेबल है हमेशा के लिए। कभी भी किसी भी समय उनको देखा पढ़ा जा सकता है। उसमें ईमेल एड्रेसेस दे रखे हैं, उन पे करके अपने क्वेश्चंस जो है वो पूछे जा सकते हैं। मैं इनवाइट करता हूं हमारे IAPT RC9 के सेक्रेटरी डॉक्टर उत्तम शर्मा सर को कि वह भी इस संदर्भ में अपनी बात रखें।
सर नमस्कार, सभी को मेरा नमस्कार। कोविड-19 के इस विकट परिस्थिति में
हेलो,
हाँ सर, आवाज नहीं आ रही।
और यूजी और पीजी स्टूडेंट का जो एक अभिनव प्रयोग किया गया है, इसके लिए मैं आदरणीय हमारे मध्य प्रदेश चैप्टर के अध्यक्ष प्रोफेसर B.D. श्रीवास्तव सर का बहुत बहुत आभार व्यक्त करता हूँ, बहुत बहुत धन्यवाद देता हूँ कि उन्होंने एक इस कोविड-19 की विकट परिस्थिति में छात्र के मॉरल को बूस्टअप करने के लिए, और जो उसका कुछ कोर्स और सिलेबस जो उसका पूरा नहीं हो पाया था, और उसको मनोवैज्ञानिक तौर पर भी छात्र को मजबूती प्रदान करने के लिए जो अपनी युवा टीम के साथ में मध्य प्रदेश के अंदर एक नए तरह का, एक यूनिक इनोवेटिव तरीके का ये एक फिजिक्स ऑनलाइन लेक्चर सीरीज का प्रोग्राम ऑर्गेनाइज किया गया है। IAPT की शुरुआत 1984 में हुई थी। तभी से IAPT का प्रमुख उद्देश्य ये छात्रों के बीच में फिजिक्स और फिजिक्स से संबंधित कंसेप्ट और अवधारणाओं को किस प्रकार से उसके ठीक से पहुंचाया जाए, उसके लिए इसका स्टार्टिंग हुआ था। IAPT में पूरे देश भर से करीब करीब 8000 से अधिक लाइफ मेंबर है और 1500 से ज़्यादा इसके सदस्य हैं। मैं RC09 IAPT और श्री वैष्णव विद्यापीठ विश्वविद्यालय की ओर से इस 6 दिवसीय फिजिक्स ऑनलाइन लेक्चर सीरीज के लिए बहुत बहुत धन्यवाद देना चाहूँगा प्रोफेसर सागर सेन जो कन्वीनर है इस कार्यक्रम के। उसके अलावा डॉक्टर अपर्णा अग्रवाल और डॉक्टर जितेंद्र सोलंकी जो इस कार्यक्रम के को कन्वीनर है। मैं अपने हृदय से धन्यवाद देना चाहूँगा इस लेक्चर सीरीज के रिसोर्स पर्सन डॉक्टर नेत्राम कोराव, प्रोफेसर रवि राठौर, प्रोफेसर प्रदीप बैरागी, प्रोफेसर आशुतोष शर्मा, प्रोफेसर रविकांत चौहान, प्रोफेसर सहदेव घोष जो आज के हमारे रिसोर्स पर्सन भी है आज के लेक्चर के, प्रोफेसर आदित्य कुमार, प्रोफेसर आदिश जैन, और सबसे महत्वपूर्ण तौर पर धन्यवाद देना चाहूँगा सभी छात्र छात्राओं का, सभी पार्टिसिपेंट का, कि वो इस विकट परिस्थिति के अंदर अपना साथ साथ अपनी पढ़ाई की ओर भी बराबर ध्यान दे रहे हैं, क्योंकि छात्र और आप लोग ही आने वाले समय का हमारा भारत का भविष्य है। इसलिए आप पढ़िए और सुरक्षित रहिए। मेरा विशेष धन्यवाद है हमारे मध्य प्रदेश इंडियन एसोसिएशन और फिजिक्स टीचर्स के एग्जीक्यूटिव काउंसिल मेंबर डॉक्टर पीके दुबे सर का, और आप सभी का बहुत बहुत धन्यवाद। आपने मुझे बुलाया, मैं आपका आभारी हूँ। श्रीवास्तव सर, विशेष तौर पर आपका आभारी हूँ। धन्यवाद सर।
बहुत बहुत धन्यवाद सर।
थैंक यू सर।
May I start?
या आप शुरू कीजिए काम की बात, पढ़ाई की बात शुरू करते हैं।
Thank you, Sharma sir. Thank you, Srivastav sir, and thank you, Sagar sir. Today, I will discuss about the imperfection in crystal and why we study this topic. Why this topic is so important to us. First of all, I would then you will get the answer of this type of questions like what types of defects arise in solid, can the number and type of defects can be controlled or varied, and how the defects affect the material properties in solids, and how is the defects are desirable or undesirable. So you know that first of all the title imperfection in crystal. Crystal means you know that there is a periodic arrangement of atoms. Crystal made of lattice plus basis. Lattice is nothing but the number of that is called basis. Basis may be one atom basis or two atom basis. So I think you all know that the crystal. So there is a periodicity in crystal, and the imperfection means there is a break of the periodicity. So if somehow the periodicity break, then it will affect the physical properties of crystal or solid. Now one common example is that you all know that the semiconductor silicon is a semiconductor which has a band gap and it is a crystalline, and so to increase the conductivity we generally dope by phosphorus, arsenic, boron, etc. in order to create p type or n type semiconductor. So this doping, phosphorus, boron, these are all we are creating externally defects in the crystal. So in that case, this is a important and this is advantageous for us to create to create defects in the material, and due to this defect we are getting large conductivity. You may know that the steel. What is steel? Steel is nothing but carbon dope iron, and steel is very hard material, but before carbon mixing, that is not too much useful. So we make doping by carbon and we get steel, and there are so many things. You know that the semiconductor has a band gap, and semiconductor, suppose gallium oxide is a compound semiconductor. It has cation Ga3 plus and anion O2 minus, and it has a band gap around 4.9 electron volt. So you know that there is a valence band and conduction band, and the defects means I will come to the what kind of defects are there. So first of all, I want to just say that if there is a cation vacancy, if there is anion vacancy, or if some interstitial are there, then what will happen? So you, in case of gallium oxide, one thing is that if oxygen vacancy is there, then there is a their donor level created just below the conduction band, and that will help, and that will create a n-type conductivity in the gallium oxide material. But intrinsic gallium oxide, pure gallium oxide, is a insulating material. It is not a perfectly semiconductor, but due to this oxygen vacancy, it makes a semiconductor. Similarly, if in some material, if cation vacancy is there, then there is a acceptor level created at around the valence band maximum, and that will create a p-type nature. So these all these three things make ये एक बोलते हैं कि डिफेक्ट हमेशा अनडिजायरेबल नहीं है. कभी कभी we need this defect to improve the crystal property. So right now I will go to the point, what are the other, what are the defects. Defects may be one dimensional, zero dimensional, and three dimensional. Zero dimensional means point defect. Point defect, I told you that first there is so many lattice point, and each, if some atom in a lattice point is absent, that is called a point defect. So point defect, you see that there is a figure here. The atoms are placed in all the lattice sites, and this lattice site is here is a vacancy, means atom is not here. So that is the example of vacancy. And next, what kind of other, now if some atom is in position interstitial, then and atom is same, then it is called a self interstitial. And here you see that the periodicity, here is the periodicity, here is the periodicity, and instead of this region, here also periodic, here also periodic, and here also periodic. Only a distortion comes in this region, and that's why I call it a defect. And this atom sitting at the void position is the same as this atom, so this is called self interstitial. And other is that the substitutional impurity. Substitutional impurity is, I told you that in the case of silicon is a semiconductor, but when we substitute one or few silicon atom or ion by another, like p-type phosphorus, then that will generate a substitutional impurity. Means here in normal perfect crystal there should be silicon, but instead of this silicon we have replaced this silicon ion by other atom, and that is called substitutional impurity atom. And here you can see that there is a self interstitial, means same atom, like silicon atom sitting at the void position. And if some other impurity atom, like any other element which has smaller radius, which can sit also at the interior, at the void position, that is also impurity, interstitial impurity, but it is impurity we call because it is not silicon, it is other than silicon atom. And next, one thing is that when we create, or when defects arises in the material, then what will happen in the energy? When defect arises, the energy of the system will lower, and entropy of the system will be decreased, because if some disturbance is there, then it will create more disorderness. And you know that the entropy is connected with the disorder. Like, you know, the well-known equation S is equal to K ln omega. Omega is the disorder. So if omega increase, then entropy of the system will also increase. The S is equal to K ln omega. If this is the relation, and it is a famous relation, Maxwell-Boltzmann relation. And so one thing is that entropy is increasing, and due to this defect, you know that if this atom is silicon, then this silicon atom create bond with the surrounding atom. And if bond is once bond is formed, then the energy of the will be reduced, and the system will go to the lower ground state energy. But if the bond is not formed, then the energy will increase. So one part is due to defect, the energy is increasing, and along with that, the entropy also increases. And you know that the free energy means Helmholtz free energy or Gibbs free energy, that mainly takes a very important role in the crystal growth. And in that case, the both combination will decide how the whether material will be stable or not. So there is a competition between the internal energy increasing and entropy increasing, and they will create the crystal. So now, yeah, I told you that vacancy is there, self uh, vacancy is there, substitutional impurity is there, whether it is radius is larger, or here radius is smaller compared to the original or parental atom. So, and how much vacancy will be there in a crystal. So now we will calculate this thing. There is a हेलो सर, ये पीपीटी पूरा शो हो रहा है?
हाँ सर, हो रहा है, नो प्रॉब्लम।
अच्छा, ये साइड वाला जो इक्वेशन है एन डी बाई पूरा दिख रहा है?
साइड वाला इक्वेशन, हाँ ये दिख रहा है सर, एन डी अपॉन एन इक्वल टू एक्सपेंशन ऑफ ब्रैकेट में माइनस का क्यू डी अपॉन के टी, सर दिख रहा है।
ओके ओके। नाउ हियर वी कैन कैलकुलेट द वैकेंसी. So how we will calculate this? Now suppose you have a perfect crystal. Then perfect crystal means there is no vacancy and all atoms are sitting on the crystal lattice side. So now if you want to create a vacancy at that height, so you have to supply some energy to this side, such that this atom can go from this side to here. So the amount of energy required to create this vacancy is QT. And now total number of atoms or total number of crystal sites is total capital N. So out of this, I want to create ND number of vacancy. So this form the equation, and this equation NT by N is equal to exponential minus QT by KT. This equation comes from the Helmholtz Gibbs free energy minimization. And in my tomorrow's class, I will explain this derivation in detail, such that student can understand this thing. So right now, it is very important that if you have n number of lattice sites, and for a one vacancy creation, you have to supply QT amount of energy. And so how many number of vacancy will be created at temperature T? So that will come from this relation. So where A is the Boltzmann constant, T is the temperature, and I mentioned you already that capital N is the total number of lattice site, and capital ND is the number of vacancy created in the crystal. Next, we move to the next point. Here, we can, by using this relation, we can calculate the QD value by taking this ND by N versus T and log of ND by N versus 1 by T. This slope basically gives the QD value. QD value means amount of energy required to create a single vacancy in a crystal. Hello? हेलो
हाँ सर, आवाज आ रही है, नो प्रॉब्लम।
अच्छा अच्छा, और स्टूडेंट के लिए कॉमन क्वेश्चन है, अभी तक जो भी पढ़ाया इसमें कोई डाउट है? अगर डाउट है तो पूछ सकते हैं।
सर एक डाउट था, स्टूडेंट ने कमेंट बॉक्स में लिखा है, व्हाट इज द डिफरेंस बिटवीन हेल्महोल्ट्ज एनर्जी एंड फ्री एनर्जी?
तो free energy is the several kind of free energy is there, like Helmholtz free energy is one kind of energy and other is the Gibbs free energy also. So free energy is the common term and there are two parts. One is Helmholtz free energy that is defined by F is equal to U minus Ts, and Gibbs free energy is F plus PV, means U minus Ts plus PV. That's all. So this calculation, tomorrow I will derive this equation from the Gibbs free energy. So Helmholtz free energy is defined as F is equal to U minus Ts, where U is the internal energy, T is the temperature, and S is the entropy. And Gibbs free energy is the F plus PV. P is the pressure and V is the volume. So now is it clear, Kapil sir?
हाँ सर, I think he is satisfied with your answer. One another question is, how energy of a crystal decrease due to
Bond
vacancy?
formation. Energy.
How energy of crystal decreases due to vacancy?
No. Energy is increasing. Suppose that you have a atom in this side, so this atom will create bond with this one, with this one, with this one, with this one, and with this one. And you know that when bond is formed between two atoms, then energy is minimized. Okay, so now this atom is absent, so this atom cannot create bond with this one. So here one electron will be extra, and similarly here also one electron will be extra, but they could be form a bond. So bond is incomplete. Due to this incompleteness, the energy of the system increases. Hello, Kapil sir?
Yes sir. And one another one is, what is role of free energy in stability of crystal? May I repeat, sir?
Yeah, I got your question.
Thank you, sir.
Actually, Gibbs free energy, I can. So that's why I am saying that tomorrow's class in details I will derive this equation. I think that time these doubts will be clear. Hello, Kapil sir?
हाँ सर, क्लियर है, बाकी कोई क्वेश्चन नहीं है अभी.
अच्छा.
No questions arise. Yes.
Okay. Now this is just the example. So I am not interested this example. So right, next. Now one question, how the defects arises in crystal. So you you may have know that the thin film deposition process or single crystal growth process. In thin film deposition process, what we do, basically we evaporate our material in PLD. Basically, we laser light is fall on the material, and material from this target material come out, and onto a surface this material get deposited. So at that time, during the growth, we have to supply some energy from externally in terms of temperature, and we have to also control the pressure. So depending upon this temperature, pressure, and other deposition parameter variation, the defects may create. And we cannot remove all the defects, but we can only optimize our point defects. Here some procedures are there how the defects are created. So first point is that impurities may be added to the material during synthesis. This kind of substitutional impurity, when we dope or we form alloy by mixing some other mixing two or more compounds, like when we suppose dope gallium oxide with iron. So we will mix gallium oxide powder and iron oxide powder, and then gallium side will be replaced by the iron atom. So this is now the iron atom has different radius and gallium atom has different radius. So when iron atom will sit in the gallium side in gallium oxide crystal, then this iron will act as defect impurity. So, and another thing is that heating to high temperature and quench. When we heat a material, then that will expand, and when we quench means suddenly we cool this material, then due to this expansion material will move from their equilibrium position, and due to sudden cooling they cannot come back to their original position, and so there will be a defect. And sometimes when we supply enough temperature, then some atom get ejected by taking some energy from the temperature, or the atom move from their equilibrium position to another position. That will also create defect. And heating in vacuum, that is in oxide, it may lead to loss of oxygen acceptance. You know that the oxide material contain oxygen. So when we heat, the oxygen atom can release from the can emit from this material and create oxygen vacancy. In case of gallium oxide, this is a very common thing, and due to this oxygen vacancy, it shows some conductivity. And I told you already that this is advantageous for us. So these are the methods by which we can create point defects. Now, I told you that there are three types of defects. One is zero dimensional. Zero dimensional means point defect. Point defect is the vacancy, interstitial, self-interstitial, impurity, interstitial, this kind of thing. And now I will move to the point line defect. What is line defect? Now, line defect contains two parts. This is the one is edge dislocation, and another is screw dislocation. And what is dislocation? I will cover now this topic. And before that, I want to mention this thing to clear to students. This is a crystal, and if these atoms are same as this, then this will be a perfect. But we substitute this blue atom in place of this atom. So this create a substitutional solid solution. And here the lattice sides, the blue atoms are sitting on the lattice sides. And here you see that there is a periodicity of the large atomic radius atom, and there is a also a periodic in smaller radii atoms. So this is a interstitial solid solution. So when we form alloy, then there will be a defect. And I told you that when we form alloy, then we some points we have to in our mind that atomic size, and that is called Hume Rothery rules, and this is the basic condition acceptable appreciable for solubility. And first of all, that the atomic size means, suppose you want to dope iron in gallium oxide, then the iron atom radius and gallium atom radius should be nearly equal. And if and this is allowed up to 14% only. If the iron atom is more than 40% compared to the gallium atom, then we cannot substitute gallium atom by iron. So we have to see whether iron atom and gallium atom has nearly equal radius or not. And another thing is the crystal structure. Why this is important? Suppose gallium oxide has a monoclinic crystal structure, but iron oxide is a hexagonal. So if we want to dope iron in gallium oxide, then that is the structural crystal structure is completely different. One is monoclinic and another is hexagonal. So there will be a problem to dope. So it would be better if we take similar type of crystal structure, like if uh, aluminum oxide Al2O3, it is a hexagonal structure, and iron oxide, it is also a hexagonal structure. So if we want to make a alloy from gallium oxide and iron oxide, then that will be easier from instead or compared to iron doping in gallium oxide. So, but one question may arise that, so is it not possible to dope iron in gallium oxide? No, it is possible to dope iron in gallium oxide, but the amount of doping will be very less. And the third point is the electronegativity. The atoms would have similar electronegativity or compounds will form. The atoms means here I take the example of iron doping in the gallium oxide. So electronegativity of the gallium ion and iron atoms should be nearly same. And another thing is that the valency. You know that in gallium oxide, gallium possess valency 3, means gallium has uh, 3 plus state, Ga 3 plus state. Similarly, in Fe2O3 also it shows 3 valency, means Fe3 plus. So, but so it is possible in that sense. But if we want to dope nickel in gallium oxide, then what will create problem? Nickel Ni shows uh, divalent, means Ni 2 plus, and gallium is Ga3 plus. So that will create a problem. What kind of problem will be there? Now, due to make charge neutralize in the crystal, then more number of nickel atoms should be there to neutralize the charge. Because if we replace one gallium atom from the gallium oxide and put one only nickel atom or nickel ion, then you see that there will be a charge difference. Means you are taking 3 plus charge 3e and you are giving plus 2e charge. So there is a charge difference. So it may create some defect in the material. सर अभी तक ये क्लियर है? स्टूडेंट के लिए भी क्वेश्चन है कि अगर कोई डाउट है इस पॉइंट में तो पूछ सकते हैं, अदरवाइज मेल में भी पूछ सकते हैं या कल भी पूछ सकते हैं. तो कपिल सर ये क्लियर है?
अभी तक तो आपकी आवाज भी क्लियर थी, आपने जो समझाया वो भी क्लियर था. बस एक क्वेश्चन था
हाँ
कि व्हाट टेक्निक्स आर यूज्ड टू डिटेक्ट द क्रिस्टल डिफेक्ट्स.
क्रिस्टल डिफेक्ट्स डिटेक्ट करने के लिए बहुत सारे तरीके हैं. जैसे one of the direct measurement technique is the TEM, transmission electron microscopy. I don't know whether you know the transmission electron microscopy or not, but still this is a technique. In this technique we can see directly the defect, and if you I will show tomorrow this direct TEM image of the defect. Okay. TEM transmission electron microscopy is the technique by which we can directly see the crystal defect, like dislocation, point defects, this type of thing. So Sagar sir, are you asking something?
हाँ, क्वालिटिवली क्वांटिटिवली तो हम वहां से देख सकते हैं, बट क्वालिटिवली हम शायद XRD से भी देख सकते हैं. नॉट कंफर्म, पूरी तरह से नहीं बता सकते आप कि, लेकिन हाँ TEM इज क्वांटिटिवली गिव्स द इंफॉर्मेशन अबाउट द हाउ मच डिफेक्ट.
Quantitatively and direct measurement technique is only the TEM. Otherwise,
TEM, yes.
Otherwise, you have several techniques like optical measurement, like PL, photoluminescence.
Yes.
From there, you can also know, or you can get some idea about the defects. Is the
another
one
person
thing
is
is that
asking,
if you have some defects in your crystal, then what if you measure PL measurement, then we will get another peak corresponding to these defects, because each defect level will create an energy level in the semiconductor. So when you perform PL, then this due to this transition you will get extra peak, and from this you can also say that there is a defect. And
another
in case
person is asking that, one person is asking how oxygen species play a role in electrical conductivity of material.
This is a derivation, but it is also experimentally proved. Actually, what happened in case of oxide material, there is a problem in the oxygen. What kind of problem? It is true for some material, not for all material. In like gallium oxide also, here if you supply oxygen from outside during the gallium oxide deposition or growth, then oxygen vacancy will be less. But if oxygen vacancy is there, then they will act like a donor and they will create n-type carrier, and it will act as donor. Means gallium oxide is a semiconductor, there is a valence band and there is a conduction band, and donor means gallium, due to the oxygen vacancy there will be a level created just below the conduction band minimum. So effectively now the band gap is decreasing, and that will create your n-type conductivity.
Another one is asking about, yes, definitely very exact answer you have given. Okay, another one is asking that can neutron be used to get the defects?
Neutron
can be used for to determine the defect. Somebody is asking, Ram Prasad is asking about that.
Yeah. Actually, one thing is that neutron diffraction mainly used for magnetic to get the magnetic information about the sample. But still this neutron diffraction also give the defect information. And one most thing that you mentioned, that XRD also can give about the defects, and how if some defects are there, like one atom is absent in the material, then due to this absence the bond length will change, and due to this bond length change the lattice parameter will be affected due to this vacancy. And you know that XRD use the Bragg's law, 2d sin theta is equal to L lambda, and D contains A and the HKL value. So A means lattice parameter. So from these also you can get about the defect. And another thing is that one more technique is the EXAFS, extended X-ray absorption spectroscopy, which probes the local structure of atom. And in that case, what will happen? Now you can directly, not directly, you can experimentally measure the bond length, bond angle. If some changes appear in your result, then you can say that there is a defect. If bond length change, then you can say that there will be a distortion. Is this kind of thing.
Okay,
Sagar sir, are you satisfied?
Yeah, definitely. He's asked similarly that transmission electron is TEM. We are using electron, so he is asking, can we use a neutron as for that particular things? Okay, you given a right answer. Means you given a very satisfactory answer. And now another one is asking about that.
No,
sir.
Sagar sir.
Yes.
Just
yes.
I want to make a comment that transmission electron microscopy is a direct measurement technique, and can we use neutron diffraction or normal X-ray diffraction? And so we can use this technique also, but the resolution will be very less. And one thing is that for X-ray diffraction or any diffraction, we generally use wavelength, and lambda is defined by h by p kind of thing. Okay, so p means momentum, and you know that in case of electron diffraction the wavelength is very less compared to the X-ray range. So you know that Ewald sphere is there. So when you draw a Ewald sphere, you of course know, but in case of Ewald sphere, what happened? If your probing wavelength is very small, then large number of crystal lights will be acquiring the Bragg's condition. So in that case, you will get more intensity in diffraction data. When you know that in case of TEM, we need very small amount of sample. Why? Now this much sample is sufficient to generate a highly intense data because of this small wavelength only. You know that in case of electron beam, its wavelength is 0.037 angstrom only, and in case of XRD it is of the order of angstrom. So transmission electron microscopy probes large number of crystal planes to give intense diffraction data. Sagar sir, and your another question. Hello, सागर सर, आर यू हियरिंग?
सर आवाज तो बहुत अच्छी आ रही है. सागर सर शायद
अच्छा
थोड़े व्यस्त है.
I think yes. Hello, are you getting? Yes.
सागर सर, any other question?
No question. You can proceed now.
Okay.
No question.
Now, next thing is that I told you that imperfections are three types mainly: zero dimensional, one dimensional, and two dimensional. So zero dimensional is the point defect, one dimensional is the line defect, and line defect is the dislocation, dislocation is two kind of two types of dislocations are there. One is edge dislocation and another is crew dislocation, and third one is the planar defects or 2D, that is grain boundaries is there. So Sagar sir,
Yes, sir.
uh,
Hello.
it will be better if I go rest of the topic for tomorrow class.
Yes. No problem. Actually, time is also over. Okay. Means new session, new lecture will be on the only the time is not main more. Okay. So we can proceed. We can continue it tomorrow. No problem.
Okay sir.
Hello.
Yeah.
Are you getting my
Tomorrow
voice?
10 p.m.
10
No,
a.m.
what is the
10
time?
a.m. Sorry, sir. 10 a.m. 10 a.m.
Okay.
Okay.
So some important things I want to announce right now. The test. Okay. Tomorrow, one of the test crystal structure and as well as defect. Okay. Whatever sir taught right now. Okay. That it will be asked in the next class. Means next at 3 o'clock. Tomorrow 3 o'clock, and as well as more test will be organized tomorrow. Okay, then we are discussing right now, and then we will confirm it at website, as well as somebody is asking some questions. Before that I will complete my statement. Okay. और सभी लोग जो है वो सभी स्टूडेंट जो है कल 3 बजे जो है क्रिस्टल स्ट्रक्चर और डिफेक्ट जो है इसका भी टेस्ट देना है। इसके अलावा 2 से 3 टेस्ट जो है वो और होंगे। ठीक है। और इसके अलावा आपको जब कल सेशन ये खत्म हो जाएगा तो परसों भी आपको टेस्ट देना है। ठीक है। परसों टेस्ट देने के बाद में आपको लगभग उसी समय हम एक दिन में जो है वो पूरा समराइज कर लेंगे, और उसके बाद में जो है सर्टिफिकेट का हम देखेंगे कि सर्टिफिकेट जो है वो किस तरह से सर्टिफिकेट जो है उसका हम डिस्ट्रीब्यूशन करेंगे। ठीक है। सम क्वेश्चंस आस्क्ड बाय स्टूडेंट, आई वांट to say to you, sir. Sir, please tell to explain gallium oxide semiconductor example clearly. I'm not getting. One question is that. Another is, sir, what should be the valence state of dopant and material in which I want to add the dopant? First question you can ask. You can see, sir, what should be the valence state of dopant and material in which I want to add the dopant?
Sorry. What kind of valency?
What should what should be the valence state of dopant and the material in which I want to add the dopant?
Okay.
Actually, the question is not complete, I think.
No. In the class, I told you that when we want to dope a material with some other element, then the valency should be same. But if you dope with different valency material, then there will be defect. Why? Now, due to charge neutralization. Because suppose in gallium oxide, gallium has a 3+ state, and if you dope with iron like Fe3+, then there is one, you are taking one gallium atom and keeping one iron atom, then the total positive charge is maintained. But if you take one gallium atom and if you keep one nickel atom means Ni2+, so you are taking 3 unit charge and giving 2 unit charge. So there is a problem. Means deficient of positive charge. So what will happen? Then there will defect arises. If you dope with some tetravalent element like silicon, then what will happen? You are taking one gallium atom and keeping one silicon Si4+, then one positive charge is extra you are giving in the material. So in that case, material will try to neutralize the charge. So it will create in such a way that the charge maintained throughout the crystal. So that's why we have to see whether the charge state or valence state same or not. If same, then the chance of doping will be larger, and if the valency is different, then the chance of doping will be less. Only this thing. And another question is that you ask, gallium oxide is basically, it is a material, it insulating material. Basically it has band gap 4.9 to 5 electron volt, but I told you that due to the oxygen vacancy it shows some n-type conductivity, and that's why people are saying that gallium oxide as a semiconductor, n-type semiconductor. And along with that you can dope by silicon, tin, germanium, etc., and you will get sufficient amount of the order of carrier concentration 10 to the power 22 per centimeter cube in gallium oxide. So that's why people are saying that gallium oxide is a semiconductor. And any more question?
Not at all, sir. अभी
Sagar
तक कुछ
sir?
नहीं है. Sagar sir is want to saying something.
But unmute. Okay. Okay, so nice lecture, sir. As well as whatever the questions comes from the student, I think they will definitely satisfied by this particular questions and answers. Sorry, and important lecture means whatever the experimental observation, whatever the find that you also found in your lectures. Okay, and right now I am invite to Dr. B.D. Srivastava sir. Then he will tell about.
बहुत अच्छे डॉक्टर सहदेव घोष जी, आपने बहुत अच्छे प्रकार से जो है वो क्रिस्टल इम्परफेक्शन के बारे में जो है बात की. Participants, this is like a joke. If you learn about the crystal imperfection, this is just like that. If I say I may not have symptoms, but COVID-19 is a huge headache. Got it? That is, crystal imperfection is like something like that.
Yes sir.
Although हम उसके बाद भी इसको मेजर करते हैं, कैलकुलेट करते हैं और उसके लिए थ्योरीज हम इवॉल्व करते हैं. दैट इज द ग्रेट थिंग.
Sometimes a defect improve the physical property and
yes
exactly.
Physical
property.
Many times defects also support the theories. Means support the lots of things. Means the application point of view, it is also important. Very nice talk.
So defect is always support. It means the defects are always support, right?
Yes sir.
So I conclude this session to give the thanks Dr. Sahdev. or any other information. सागर कोई और देना है बच्चों को?
यस यस ओके हाँ बिल्कुल. कल जो है 3 बजे टेस्ट होगा, ठीक है, मॉर्निंग में. और बाकी जो टेस्ट है सॉलिड स्टेट फिजिक्स में क्रिस्टल स्ट्रक्चर और डिफेक्ट जो है उनका टेस्ट होगा कल 3 बजे, ठीक है. आफ्टर ऑल इसके अलावा जो है बाकी जो टेस्ट है उसकी इंफॉर्मेशन आपको आज शाम को या मॉर्निंग में दे दी जाएगी. इसके अलावा परसों भी आपके टेस्ट होंगे जो बचे हुए सब्जेक्ट है उनके, ठीक है. तो आपको अगर सर्टिफिकेट चाहिए तो यू नीड टू गिव ए टेस्ट. ओके, इट इज मैंडेटरी टू ऑल पीपल्स, ऑल स्टूडेंट्स, दे शुड गिव द टेस्ट. ओके, विदाउट टेस्ट जो है वी आर नॉट अलाउइंग टू गिव द सर्टिफिकेट. ओके, सो यू नीड टू गिव टेस्ट. कल जो है वो 3 बजे आपको टेस्ट देना. इसके अलावा किसी का टेस्ट बच गया है, ठीक है, वो जिसने नहीं दे पाया, जैसे क्रिस्टल स्ट्रक्चर का पहले सॉलिड स्टेट फिजिक्स के कुछ हुए 4 टॉपिक उनका, और लेजर फिजिक्स, अगर आप अभी भी जो है कुछ लोगों ने नहीं दिया है तो वो जो है कल 3 बजे जो है उसकी भी लिंक ओपन कर दी जाएगी, या फिर 3 बजे नहीं तो उसको 2 बजे या इस तरह से कुछ कर दिया जाएगा, क्योंकि 3 बजे तो हो सकता है बाकी जो लेक्चर मतलब बाकी टेस्ट नहीं दे पाएंगे, तो 2 बजे जो है उसकी लिंक ओपन हो जाएगी. जिन लोगों ने अभी तक के 2 टेस्ट नहीं दिए, ठीक है. इसके अलावा और उसके अलावा जो है बाकी जो सब्जेक्ट है क्रिस्टल स्ट्रक्चर और इनका जो है कल 3 बजे होगा। इसके अलावा मॉर्निंग आपको बता दिया जाएगा। ठीक है, तो थैंक यू वेरी मच।
Thank you, Sagar sir. Thank you, Srivastava sir.
Okay, thanks all.
On the behalf of other students, thank you very much, sir, for delivering a very nice lecture.
Thank you.
Thank you, sir.
Let's close the meeting.
Okay.
Okay, sir.